Even if it is not for a job, society expects us and our children to be able to write formally in appropriate context. In the school or community language, our children are exposed to a wide variety of sources that help them learn to write formally. But when it comes to the home language, it's up to us. So today, Uto and I are going to show you how you can teach your child to write formally in your home language.
Welcome to Activities for Multilingual Families, where we share ideas to help you foster your languages in a fun and compelling way. In this video, we share with you ways to make our children's formal writing experience in their home languages motivating for them and for us.
In certain cultures, like the Korean one, children are expected to speak and write formally to some of their family members, so they get used to it from a very young age. But if in our home culture this is not required, how can we familiarize our children with the necessary adaptations to write formally? So first step is to raise awareness. Like we mentioned in our previous video about speaking formally that we link in the description below, it is important to expose our children to formal language and to help them notice the differences, because exposure on its own is not going to be enough. And we need to be here to guide them. So this can be done in a very casual way when we're reading together. And it is important also to start with the most noticeable changes and those that are going to be the most relevant to our children. Of course, this is going to be different from language to language, but I'm going to give you some examples regarding French, and hopefully this will help you to adapt these ideas to your own home language. And as always, feel free to let us know how you would adapt them in the comments below. So, in French, for example, questions can be asked in a more or less formal.
Le saviez-vous? Ça veut dire quoi? Le saviez-vous? C'est quoi?
Tu sais quoi?
Oui, c'est tu sais quoi?
Another place where we can notice formal language is when addressing people. As you know, in English there is only one you. It's neither formal nor informal. But in French, you have tu, that is informal, and you have vous, that is formal. So, comic books are very useful for that because it's just people talking to each other. And sometimes some might be using formal language, some informal language. And so I started by showing my sons that some are addressing people with vous, even if it's one person. And then we talked about why it was vous, why it was formal, etc.
Si vous aviez inventé le ketchup, vous seriez vachement plus connu. Il a dit vous encore.
Poli.
Oui, il est poli.
The advantage of using comic books as opposed to cartoons or film is that we can pause easily. We can read the story, then ask a question, talk about it, and then go back to the story, and they don't feel like they are missing out on the story like when they watch cartoons or films. And then comes the writing. So in order to get our primary school age children to write, here's a little fun activity you can do with a wordless. In a previous video, we explained how you can read wordless books, and here I'm going to show you how you can use that to help them write formally. So here you can see that at the top of the page I have left a few post-it notes with text written in them, and my son needs to find who says what. And after that, you can see that I have also left some post-it notes that were partially completed for each of the characters, and my son needs to determine what they could be saying. And at the same time, I'm going to reinforce whether it's formal or informal. So it's not just a work on formal, informal, it's just subtly in the situation. So they're speaking to an adult, so they need to speak formally, etc. And one thing to note as well is that when you do that kind of activity, it's good to do it with them so that they can ask for help or guidance whenever it's necessary, whether it's for the spelling or for how to write or say something in a formal way. And that way, it's going to feel like a stress-free environment to learn all these things. It's not going to feel like it's work.
With older children who can already write in the school language but are less confident to do the same in the home language, motivation is key. The older our children get, the more they need to be able to write longer texts for exams, essays, assignments, etc. in the school language. But this doesn't mean that they will be equally confident in writing in their home languages too, unless, of course, they receive formal instruction of some kind. Parents or caregivers are not necessarily teachers, and we don't need to be in order to help our children also learn how to write formal texts. Any kind of prompt to write in the home language that they probably are less confident in writing might come across like a challenge or puts them into school mode, which can be demotivating because adding more to their plate. Our children will be more motivated in learning formal language if there is a use and purpose for it. Our young teenagers might question some activities we suggest, but they will understand the importance of being able to, at some point, write a business email, an essay, an article, write a report, or fill in official documents and surveys that sometimes also require the use of formal language. So my suggestion is to tailor this activity, or maybe I should rather call it a prompt, to what they need and what they are able to do right now. We can show them emails and letters that we write, make them notice how they differ in language from those we write to friends and family, for example, so that they can notice the difference in style. They can find templates online that help them how to structure letters, emails, and share forms and formats to use. Here is a short list of texts our teenagers could be interested in learning more about, like how to write a formal email to adults in general, to teachers, employers, colleagues, or write a response to an advert, also on social media, or reply to a job offer, or write a CV. Our 16-plus-year-olds can start setting up a CV or profile on LinkedIn. Drafting a CV is an important exercise our teenagers need to master. They will need to update it regularly. Furthermore, raising our children's awareness of what skills they already have and how to present them in an appealing way will help them become clearer about what else they would like to add. For example, another language, another subject area, and a skill maybe that they honed during a summer job. The styles for CVs change quickly over time, and I personally find that exploring the structure of LinkedIn or any similar platform is a great start. After choosing a topic and format that will be useful for them now, we may want them to focus on some general rules for formal texts. This can change considerably across languages and cultures, so I just emphasize 6. Find formal equivalents to informal words. Avoid contractions, like it's, she's, we'd. It is, she is, we would. Avoid abbreviations and acronyms, or avoid colloquial language. And use a clear structure, tendentially form shorter sentences. And know how to greet. Know when to use dear, with a title, without a title. In German sometimes we say sehr geehrte, sehr geehrter oder lieber. In Italian egregio professor or gentile professor. And also when to use kind regards or best regards, or in French avec mes salutations les meilleures. With older children, activities or prompts about writing should be serving a purpose from their point of view, and they should choose the format. Most of our children prefer writing on keyboards, for example, and we will be covering handwriting in another video.
We hope you find these tips helpful, and please let us know in the comments below if you do anything else or what you think of these tips that we shared with you today.
For more details and concrete examples of games to make writing fun, make sure to check our books, The Parent's Guide for Raising Multi-literate Children and The Toolbox for Multilingual Families. You'll find the links in the description below.
And please, if you haven't done so yet, subscribe to our channel so you can be notified whenever we post a new video. Have fun with your languages!